This will be the thing that... How's it going, guys? And welcome to the Roast Podcast.
Hello.
Episode 27.
27.
That was the most bizarre intro I think we've ever had. Oh, no. Oh, okay. Well, guys, welcome to the city episode. We are back at Adam's house, and I just realised that house next door got renovated and blocked your entire view of the city.
Yes, it has.
That sucks. Wow.
It has indeed.
I didn't realise that until just then.
Ruined my life.
And the sun has gone behind the clouds, and now our lighting is horrific. Which is why I'm going to do this. Might make some sort of a difference, hopefully. Yeah, so we're back, and it's only been a week since we recorded one.
Indeed.
And
it hasn't been very long at all.
And we're finally here again. It's taken so long, but we're back. And we have a lot of good topics to talk about. I don't know why I have this thing, and we just found it.
Yes.
It's pretty cool, though. It's a very ancient hotel thing, or food restaurant
I don't
thing.
think it's ancient at all. I think it's just
Rusted out, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no. There are a few things I wanted to talk about.
All right, go ahead.
One of the topics was getting your clubbing routine sorted, and that is like the preparation for clubbing.
Yes.
And how you... Oh, whoops, you just stopped the audio.
We'll figure it out. We'll fix it. We're all good.
There we go, that's just to sync. And yeah, one of the topics was setting up, clubbing, and the clubbing routine, the special routine that you need to have for clubbing.
And what would that be?
It would be all the stuff you do, the food you eat before. Well, that's not really too important because you don't get smashed. But yeah, pretty much everything you do before going clubbing.
So you have to do shit beforehand? God damn.
Well, to make yourself look nice and make yourself smell nice.
Yeah, so you just do the normal things.
I guess. I have a special routine though, which is what I'm talking about today. My special routine of the camera being slanted slightly that I can fix. The iron shirt, yeah, that's...
Unironed shirt.
Unironed shirt. That's a bit of a meme, sadly. I didn't iron my shirt last time I went clubbing, so it
You
looked...
mean any time you've been clubbing?
Oh, okay. I literally... Well, except tonight, because it's... I have to. But anyway, we won't talk about that.
If you turned up in an unironed shirt tonight, you'd be like...
That'd be terrible.
God.
That'd be shocking. Let's hope I remember. It's sort of already ironed, but there's still a few creases in it, so I need to fix that. And that's why we're recording now, because we don't have an entire day to do this. We're time limited because I'm leaving at 7. And yeah, it should be good. What am I saying? Next week, that's right. That's what I was going to talk about. That should be good.
Yes.
Adam is going with the Utsi group next week, the Clubbing Crashes.
So how many folks are in that one?
Maybe 10 plus.
Holy fucking shit.
It depends. It really depends. I don't know.
Damn.
You can meet us at the club, or you can come to Bert's first, or whatever you want to do.
I'm going to fit everyone in my car that way. If that's the case, no way.
Oh, no one has to go in your car.
Yeah, good.
We all just catch an Uber. Don't worry about that.
Grotty. I'm paying for that.
Oops. That'd suck. We don't want unnecessary vomiting in the back seat of the the beautiful dualists. I just love the dualists. It's so efficient.
It is.
Turning this light back on, I should just leave it on.
Had to put the fuel in yesterday. $67. Let's go.
How often do you have to fuel up?
Every 2 weeks.
That's
based
pretty
on
good.
how I've been using it.
That's not bad.
No. Well, I'm not thrashing it, so implying that you thrash yours.
Yes. Look, I drove pretty safely up here today. It was the first time I've ever driven on the Monash. Not even on my L's, not even on my P's. The first time ever.
You've never driven on...
Never driven on the Monash. I got on there and I was shitting bricks like I thought I would.
How awful is it?
It sucks.
Was the traffic bad?
No, it was fine. It was good.
Yeah.
It was just a lot more cars closer to one another, a lot more than I expected.
Then you're probably used to your...
Oh, absolutely.
Even going on the East Link or the Peninsula Link, it's nothing. It's nothing compared to the fucking hell on earth that is the M1. The M1 is literally the most awful drive I can think of. And the problem is they've changed all of it up. Along the stretch that comes up to the Chadstone exit, or I think it's the one before that, the Forster Road exit. It used to be like 100 because there was an emergency lane on the outside,
yeah,
on the shoulder, but they had to move all of the lanes across so that the other lane, the final lane, literally is right on the curb of the freeway, because they're doing works on the middle run all the way through to, I think, add extra lanes. I think. But the problem is it also crosses several bridges, which they can't, just throw 2 extra lanes on.
It's the worst.
So it's like, at some point, it literally just condenses back down into however many lanes it is now. I think it's like 4.
Yeah.
Instead of 5. And that's just going to be the most horrific choke point, like bottleneck.
I mean, there's just a lot of cars condensed,
like,
really.
Yeah, it's very busy. It is very
extremely busy.
along that section there. Once I've been on the fucking M1 was my first highway drive, and talk about a trial by fire. Like, goddamn, it's really, it's so bad, especially once you get to the parts past the Chadstone exit, when you're going towards High Street, Burke Road, Track Road. Whoo, those parts get fucking nasty.
It's just intense, and for people who are watching and don't know, this is the road going into Melbourne.
The main highway.
Yeah, the main highway going into Melbourne. Melbourne is also one of the only cities in the world that doesn't have a train station to their airport, which just makes us amazing.
I'm still fucking shut off about that.
That's so
sort
stupid.
of very subtly.
Yeah.
Just like, why? Why do we not have a Skylink?
And one was built underground, but like half of it, or not half of it, but it was started under the airport. It's still there in the 1980s, and then they just were like, we can't be stuffed. The Victorian government, we're going to put our money in other things. Ridiculous.
So if you find, the secret tunnel underneath the fucking airport down into the goddamn abandoned dig site that's actually cursed. Thinking that there's an ancient
weird.
dig site underneath the airport that you'll be stumbling around, you'll get lost in the airport or something, and you'll come to this like old iron gate or something, and you'll be like, what the fuck, this isn't leading me to my plane, where the hell is this?
Sounds like an episode of Freaky.
And then you go through it, and it's just like the really old rail terminal from fucking Spider-Man 3 or something, where it's like just everything's covered in dust, but it's partially collapsed, and it's like built like an ancient rail station, like one of the really old ones before they modernized them all. You're just like, oh my god, what the fuck? This exists, and the fact that we don't actually use it, even if we had a rail link that didn't go to that particular spot, or just to a station near, like every single other fucking capital city in Australia, I'm pretty sure has a rail link, except for like Perth, I think.
Perth, yeah, it might not be. Perth might not have one.
I don't think Perth has one. Sydney definitely has one.
Yeah.
I've ridden on it.
Sydney.
Brisbane has one. I've ridden on it.
Sydney's
Canberra isn't an international airport, so I don't think they justified it. I don't think they even have a rail system. They don't even have trains.
So I don't know if it's true that they do or don't have trains. I really don't know. I've heard people. I saw recently on this show some girl said, we don't have trains. We didn't have trains in Canberra, and then someone in the comments said you do, and it's like, I don't know.
I think they have buses. They don't have trams.
No.
But they have like the long interstate trains. They have like a long haul train station, not like a domestic one where it just goes from suburb to suburb like we have.
I swear Melbourne's
just got ones that go between the main capital cities.
Yeah, I swear Melbourne, San Francisco, and Adelaide are like the only 3 cities in like almost the world that have trams.
I swear that like the trams are fucking awful on some of the roads.
Yeah,
but
it's not good.
Before I had my car, the trams were basically like a vital thing. Every single well, except the route home from uni. That was the only time I didn't have to use a tram.
That's just the
trains are the big one,
and
then like buses are sort of like the trams are like the stopgap. It's either you have a bus or you have a train, and the trams are like, well, the capacity, the sort of getting towards the capacity of a train, but not in a bus, like not with tires or anything. So it's light rail, so it's sort of a train, but not really.
Yeah.
They have tons of them in Bendigo as well. That's where they take them all pretty much as well.
Yeah,
Bendigo has some ancient trams. They've got a tram museum there. It's actually really, really interesting. Like, you think about it and you're like, trams, what the fuck? That's got to be like the most boring thing there. But you go there and you're like, all these antique trams, like beautiful ones where they actually hand built them instead of, you know, just milling them out on assembly lines. And some of them are like really, really nice to look at. Like, you know, I don't know.
They still use some of them, don't they?
They still use some of them. They retrofitted a whole set of them. And they go around. I know they go past the exhibition centre, but they use them as restaurants on rails. Like, you can actually have dinner in a tram, this really old tram, and it's really nice. Mum and Dad had it once. Apparently, it was really good, and like, just as an experience, it's one of those things. Like, I'm sure, you know, it'd be a bit weird having, you know, dinner moving. It's sort of like, you know. Sort of like having it on a train or on the plane, you know, it's kind of a little bit awkward.
Yeah, it is.
Because everything's just shifting about.
Different.
But apparently it was really, really nice. Like, you know, being able to, because it goes along this really scenic route.
Yeah.
And it's not a back and forth route. I think it's a circular route, so it just keeps going.
That'd be funny.
That's because most of the routes are just, you know, A to B and then back to A.
Yeah.
And they just go back and forth instead of, you know, following a circuit.
Just a loop.
But yeah.
We're very akin to public transport though, obviously, aren't we?
Yeah, we had to, I mean, I had to use it a whole lot. You probably had to use it a whole lot as well.
Very unconventional when you live where I live. It's
absolutely
pretty ridiculous. Like, the last time I caught trains and buses, it took me from 6 o'clock at night to get home from St Kilda to 9:30 to get home to my house. It was insane. I was like, that I'm never catching the bus and the trains ever again if I get my license soon, and I got it, so thank fuck.
Just don't lose it. Or
Yeah.
Right back at square one.
Stuff that, I mean, it'd be just not fun. It'd be not good.
I mean,
it's... Yeah.
I'm definitely way more lucky in that there's trams and trains and buses everywhere.
Yeah.
And I can map most of them most of the ones that I would need to catch in my head. It's just like, fuck.
It makes sense that you didn't get your license until now. A lot of people that live in the city don't get their license until like 21. But me, it's bad. Me is very bad. I'm not happy with it.
Definitely had to sort of... I don't know how you survived that long.
Me neither.
I
don't know how I did it at all.
Way earlier than that, but I suppose
21 and a half.
Maybe it was because you spent a year here, kind of just, and like, you know, you had public transport everywhere.
That was a big one. Spending a year here was part of the reason why it took me longer, I reckon.
Or else you would have just been like, nah, getting it. I'm gonna do it straight away.
But
you got to spend the year here, and there was like buses everywhere.
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed spending the year here. It was
old
freaking amazing. I never went in this room though. This
is my room.
We always use the study downstairs for podcasting.
We're renovating a little bit, so
a little bit of renovating now. So that room
is unavailable.
Not that we'd used it recently. We've always used this room the past year and a bit. Really?
I think so. Yeah.
And it's just
a little desk here for you.
This little desk that just has the. Oh god.
That only arrived recently, but yes.
Yeah, it's nice. Oh really? Is this recent?
I found it like 4 months ago.
Oh wow. Okay.
I was sitting on top of someone's front fence. I was walking past it and I picked it up. I saw it. I did a double take and I'm like, what the fuck? What is this doing sitting here? And then I just kind of looked around and went, you know what? It's mine. It was just sitting. It was covered in cobwebs as well, so I just kind of picked it up like, ooh.
That's fun.
Had to make sure there wasn't some like huge spider nestling in the bottom of it. Thank goodness there wasn't.
Yes,
Came home and dropped it in the bucket of water to rinse it out. But you know.
We went through all these papers and faxes in the back of a trailer the other day, and all these freaking little creatures. I forgot what they're called, but they have like the extra skin to make them like fly out of places. They're the
Extra skin? You mean wings?
Yeah, they have sort of wings. It's like they pull themselves apart and fly. They're like possums, but I'll be able to think of it anyway.
Oh, so they're not insects?
No, they're little marsupials things. I forgot the name of the creature because I don't know them very well.
Sugar gliders here.
That's it, sugar glider.
Do we don't have them?
Yeah,
here,
there are heaps of them. They're all nesting in the Mornington farm. They might not be anywhere near the city, but nesting in this trailer in the farm where I was working, and as we're pulling all these faxes and stuff out, they just appear and run out of the trailer and up the trees, and we found them in the little spot. We're like, hello.
Oh my god.
It was funny as. But yeah, that's another little pretty different to this, but I don't know, it just made me think of this for some reason.
Fair enough. That's alright.
And I wanted to just briefly get through a little topic before we talk about whatever we want.
Oh yeah.
Do you have any topics you'd like to talk about?
I mean,
You can
not
think
really.
about them as I'm explaining my really brief, boring thing.
Yeah, go on.
But anyway, there's this show I've been looking for like 8 years. More than that, 9 actually years.
Okay.
I've been looking for the show.
What's the show?
It's called Friday Night Games. It's a spin-off of one of my favourite shows, Friday Night Live. I've mentioned a fair few times.
Have you told me about this one?
I think I've told you about this.
I think you may
It's
have.
impossible to find. It's like this very hard to find show.
New Lost Media episode on Sam's movies?
Well, yeah, this is probably... I might cover this soon. Because
Whoa.
it's a fascinating one. I've literally been looking for it for years. It came out in 2006, so really recent. And then it just became lost. And I just was like, fuck it. I'm going to message the host of the show, like the main host of this show. And he got back to me. He's like, yeah, I have them. And I'll send them to you. And I was like, get fucked. No way.
Puggers.
Surely not.
Let's go.
And it's literally been 4 weeks of negotiations for him being like, oh, you know, not really can't be fucked sending them, to like finally wants to send them. And the reason why he wants to send it is because he wants me to convert the VHS. He has them on VHS, as recent as 2006.
Holy shit.
To like an MP4 on YouTube. That's what he wants me to do. He wants me to upload them all. So
Goddamn.
He's-
Got the endorsement of the host.
yeah, the literal host sent me these videos of like him talking and showing me going through them, and they're literally got like company logos on all the DVDs, like the
Oh, so
rarest
they're, like-
shit.
So you have them.
I don't have them yet. He said he was sending them tomorrow on Thursday night, and then I don't know if he sent them on Friday, but I hope he did.
Well, if he, I don't know.
He doesn't respond much though.
If
to
he
messages.
if you put them in on the regular post on Thursday afternoon, then they may not have been processed until Friday.
He said he was posting them in the post on Friday.
Oh, okay. Well, then they'll probably turn up on Monday or something.
He lives in
Because-
Sydney, I think.
Yeah, that'd be it. Because if it has to cross state lines or anything, then it'll take forever. If you put it in the overnight post, then you may have gotten them sooner. I don't think if you put them in on Friday, there was no way you're going to get them before the weekend.
I'm just worried he can't be fucked sending them, and he just didn't bother. I don't know. He seemed really keen to send it to me though, because he wants me to go through them all and fix them for him and upload them to YouTube.
So does he want them back eventually?
I don't know. He never mentioned me giving them back. I will though if he
Yeah, I mean,
if he wants it,
you want-
obviously.
just once you've digitized them.
Maybe I'll send them anyway, just in case, because I don't have any use for them. But they're pretty rare. They've got the Endemol logo on them, and they're Studio Masters. Studio Masters, by the way, guys, of TV shows are fucking rare. They're fucking hard to come by. They cost a fortune if it's a popular show, but if it's something like Friday Night Games or Friday Night Download, they cost nothing. Because those shows were bombs in television.
Don't know why you're going after them then.
I'm going after Friday Night Games. Friday Night Download was a show where these 3 hosts on television in like 2007, they got clips off the internet, like viral clips, and they showed them on there. It's pretty much Funniest Home Videos, but they're literally admitting that they got them all off the internet and showing the internet. So the show...
Funniest Home Videos wasn't even funny.
No, it
It was
wasn't.
just, people hurting themselves.
Friday Night Download's sort of slightly better than Funniest Home Videos, but still is a show that
Well,
I have no interest in.
That's because, sometimes viral clips aren't always just people injuring themselves, falling over on the side of a pool and,
Yeah.
basically injuring themselves,
And the show kind of introduces you to...
Funny.
Oh my god, haha, funny moment. The show kind of introduces you, though, to, like, viral clips that you wouldn't usually find, but they're pretty viral, so I don't know. But it bombed the show badly.
Unfortunate.
And he's sending me episodes that never even went to air. Which is, I mean, even though it's a bomb of a show,
Lost media.
that is lost media. And I might talk about that as well, because I'll be like, hey guys, I got these episodes that literally never aired in Australia for a show that, was a legitimate TV show on Channel 10. But
That's kind of sick.
it's pretty cool, yeah.
It's kind of sick.
I think it's pretty cool.
So you've been able to view unaired episodes.
Friday Night Games aired all 10 of its episodes, but you should have... The format for Friday Night Games was fucked. Like, they had 6 heat episodes where 2 teams versus each other in every episode. That's the format. And they had 6 heat episodes where there's, like, new teams versing each other. And then they had 3 preliminary finals where all the winners of each episode play each other. And then the winners of those play in a grand final. So it was like a proper show, and it's pretty much the exact same as my favorite TV show, Friday Night Live, which I'll get to another time. But I've already talked about it probably. And yeah, they're fucking hard to find. Each episode goes for an hour and 10 minutes without ads.
Damn.
And yeah, it's
like an hour and a half with ads.
Literally 9.5 hours, all 10. Oh, no, what am I thinking? It's something like 11 hours of footage altogether. But he says he only has a few episodes of Friday Night Games, which is just like, well, I'll be on a hunt for years to find all of them, but I'll take a few. I've only ever seen one, so it's like my literally magnum opus of like shows that I want to watch.
Friday Night Games. Oh yeah.
It sounds like a very
so
average show on the
you've only
surface.
seen one episode.
One episode, and I got it when I was 12 years old. 11,
So
12 years
why
old.
are you so intent on hunting it?
Because I grew up with the show. I
With
watched
the one episode.
No. I grew up with 54 episodes of the original. Because Friday Night Live had live episodes to air for 4 years and 4 seasons, and then Friday Night Games was a spin-off they made because the success of Friday Night Live was just so massive. Friday Night Live got 2.2 million viewers every single Friday night in its first season.
Wow.
In the regionals, in the main cities, all up, and that's not including everywhere else in the country. So it got a fuck ton of views, and we only have a population in Australia of 22 million. Back 21? Then, definitely 21 million. So, yeah. 21? So, yeah, that's just me talking about my little hobby, and you can, if you have any shows that you are looking for. Do you have any lost media that you want to watch that is hard to find, or not really?
I can't think of any.
Not many people have shows that they've never seen like this, that they just always wanted to see. Like, it annoys me, actually. I'd rather just have everything there that I've seen 1,000 times and not have to worry about a show. But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
oh well.
I've pretty much watched all through a whole lot of shows.
They're pretty mainstream?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. There's always some kind of thing you miss.
I mean, I don't know. It's weird. It depends on the type of person, but I like mainstream shows, and I like shows that are really obscure. But there's never been a show that I've followed where it was like you couldn't even find it. Like, this is just annoying, this show. Literally, since I was 12 years old, maybe even earlier, wanting to watch this thing. And Adam is pulling the plastic out and putting it back in, which is a thing I do with my brother's desk and I've been doing for years when he has one of those.
Does he hate it?
So he's used to it. I literally, whenever I'm over at his desk, I do that, what you're doing right now, over and over again. I'm just like, I literally, when I was 4 years old, on my weekends from school, that's all I went in and did.
Just harassed him by doing
just pulled his desk thing out and put it back in, when he was in there or not in there. And I don't think he cared, because he's so focused on freaking RuneScape or Classic
RuneScape.
WoW.
Yikes.
I say to him, I'm like, Friday Night Games, this is my Classic WoW. Like, you're waiting for Classic WoW to come out soon. I'm waiting for freaking Friday Night Games to get sent to me by the fucking host of the show.
Yikes. And then you step on his Switch.
And then I stepped on his Switch, yeah, which I didn't. I stepped on the cord, and the Switch fell out of its charger port.
You got super shitty about it.
You know, he forgot to show you all his rares, his Pokemon rares. He has a whole album that he showed me last night. Oh god.
Nah, I didn't see any.
And I said to him, I'm like, you should have showed this to Adam. He's like, fuck. They're literally like, he has every fucking Charizard from the new recent ones. He has Mew.
He's one of those Charizard.
He has what? He has all of them. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know all the Pokemon.
The problem is, right.
Yeah. What's the problem with Mew and Charizard, the rarest cards?
The Charizard that came in that set. Was it the black one?
It was the black holographics.
Yeah, that one.
You know what's wrong with that one?
It's the problem is because everyone loves Charizard. Charizard's like the most sought after Pokemon aside from, I think.
We're both talking about one where he jumps out. His head jumps out of this rectangle.
Yeah. Hold on.
You don't know. It's so good.
Do you remember what it was called? Was it like V Max or something?
Yeah, I think it said that, and it was just Charizard, but really shiny, like super shiny.
Was it
really
the
animated.
Charizard black or orange?
Orange, I think.
Okay. Well, regardless,
I can't remember.
anytime there's a Charizard in a set, right, it makes that set incredibly expensive afterwards.
Yeah.
So, this newest one is called. The most recent one, I think, is Battle Styles, right? And that one's coming out soon. The one before that, I believe, is called Champion's Path, and that one's generally not been too expensive. The problem was the one that the Charizard came out in, the most recent Charizard,
Sorry, I'm just
has become
I just realized.
so much more expensive because everyone who wants the Charizard has been buying up all the sets.
Yeah.
And folks who are dedicated to getting this fucking card will pay like $200 for the card straight up.
Far out.
Like even more money than that, attempting to pull it out of the boxes and stuff.
It's just a piece of paper. I'm kidding.
The problem is, you say it's just a piece of paper, and folks will get fucking rabid about that shit. Like, it's that one's the chase card of the set, which means that's the one everyone wants out of it. I don't particularly care because Charizard was never my favorite.
Which was your favorite?
Venusaur gang.
Venusaur. That is obscure. I've not heard of Venusaur. I've only heard of
Venusaur. Is the
Raichu.
The third evolution of the number one Pokemon. So the one that comes first chronologically, the first listed in the Pokédex.
Wow.
Bulbasaur. So
Bulbasaur.
It's the grass one. It's the grass. You know, if you picked Bulbasaur, you got Venusaur at the end. If you picked Charmander, you got Charizard at the end. If you picked Squirtle, you got Blastoise at the end.
James and I call my mate's dad the Bulbasaurus.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Why?
Because he's just a Bulbasaurus.
Because he's just a Bulbasaurus. Like, what the fuck?
He's fucking weird. He's the weirdest dude, so we just call him names.
Does he do Pokemon shit, or is it just because...
He's a weird dude. And he literally told his dad that we call him the Bulbasaurus.
And he's like, funny.
Sorry, I interrupted your Pokemon, but he's bringing them out. Oh,
I'm bringing them out. So this is my box that I run my sets in. Boom. So I only have one deck currently. I bought paid $200 for it.
People can see from here onwards, by the way.
I paid $200 for it, and it's no, not this. It's not come yet, but it's a booster box of the new Battle Styles one. So I'll have that in this deck.
Yeah.
But my current deck, if you want to turn this into a Pokemon podcast, you've gone the right way about it.
I mean, yeah, I don't mind.
This is my obscure shit, right?
Yeah.
My current deck is actually a fighting type deck, which has no support whatsoever currently, until Battle Styles comes along. So it's a mix. People who understand this will get it.
Yeah.
It's a mix between a Stonjourner VMAX wall deck and a colossal engined Sandaconda V deck. The problem is there's no support for fighting other than Colossal. Colossal is the only engine currently that you can use. Other ones have things like fucking Water Bucket or I think Cocoa Prism is pretty good for electric, but Colossal is a stage 2 that allows you to just pick out a fire and a fighting, which makes it very, very good for Sandaconda V. The problem is, here's the thing, right?
I have no idea what you just said.
Here's the thing, right? The Charizard V is really good for collectors, right?
Yeah.
But someone who actually battles will look at something like this, the Sandaconda V, which is basically just shit compared to the Charizard, and go, that's actually really fucking good. Because if you lab this shit out, like literally folks will just sit with their deck out, yeah. Look.
I didn't think. I mean, you said it. I mean,
I looked at you and then you got it. Like
no.
I saw that smile come up. And get the deck out. But like literally, they'll sit there with piles upon piles of cards. My friend does this. She's actually like crazy about it, and she'll think about what she could possibly do to make like the most optimal decks. And the closest thing to optimization I ever got was the Sandaconda Colossal, which I basically just stumbled upon. Turns out that's an actual thing, because you just use... Sandaconda's attack does 220 for 2 fighting and a colorless, so if you just run the colorless as a fire, so you use Colossal to grab the fire and the fighting that you have to discard by using the attack, it's basically just like reloading a shotgun over and over. You can use it turn after turn and just do 220 damage constantly. Because usually it's supposed to be you use it and then you have to take 2 turns again to return those energies, 1 turn at least.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can't use the attack. But if you use this method, you can just, pummel whatever comes out. And it's so quick to get out if you manage to get the Colossal started. But the problem is there's no support for it. There's no way to get the energies otherwise, other than Colossal. And if you lose Colossal, then everything goes to shit. The problem is, this is a really good deck. I believe this to be like an actually... This to be like a niche, strong deck.
Yeah.
But no one will run it because there's no support. And it's the Stongeon of VMAX, which, to be honest... I got this Stongeon of VMAX out of a pre-release, right? So when they come out with the new set, you can pay $40 and go to like a card shop, and they'll give you it's like 2 days before the set actually comes out. You can play with the set, and it was the very first thing I did. So I traded a whole lot of these cards in middle school, primary school, whatever it's called. I traded a whole lot of cards in primary school, and then I just basically gave it up for 5 years, 10, literally since year 6 ended, and then to now, that'd be 8 years. So I haven't touched my cards for 8 years, and then I come back until now, basically, and then I come back and I go to the pre-release and I pull this, which is a secret rare.
Yeah.
So this is actually super rare compared to most of the other cards. It's not the most rare card, but I literally pulled it in this pre-release, and the chances of pulling one of these is super, super low. And I think it was the rarest card pulled at the event. There was 8 people there.
That's
so I was just like, fuck, and this is so... Because I pulled it and I'm like, oh, this looks cool. And I showed it to my friend and she's like, what? You really just pulled that? Holy shit, that's so good. And I'm like, is it? I mean, I'm glad it's good, but I don't know. And she's just like, oh my god, so good. What a great pull. Because the secret rares are the ones that you want out of the things.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, well, let's go.
I love the none the wiser to it being
I had
good.
no fucking clue. All I thought about it was the fact that it was rainbow.
Yeah.
But other than that, I was just completely clueless. I was like, "What is this special?" And she's like, "Fuck yeah, that's special. That's actually so good." And so I've been using that. The problem is it's it's really good, but it suffers because it's got no utility. Fighting type is basically just do damage, tank damage, and that's it.
Yeah.
All the other types have some kind of whack utility with them. Oh my god, she ran this Blastoise GX deck.
Yeah.
That used the
Blastoise.
It was actually It was actually the sickest thing. It was Blastoise GX, and then I think she had it was the Blastoise tag team. I think it was Blastoise and Piplup.
Yeah.
But it fucking owned the shit out of me every single time she played with it, because she was just able to get it up and running without any kind of effort. The problem with mine is if I get a dead hand and I'm not able to constantly switch out energies and things, if I lose momentum, that's it. Regaining that momentum is so difficult for my deck.
I wish I knew what all this meant.
It's actually
I'm fascinated.
As soon as
even though I'm on my phone setting up for the next segment.
As soon as I moved on from just trading them into actually battling with them,
and going to
you're just
meetups.
Whoa!
I love the story you told me about how you just left. You just fuck it, let's just go and play.
I don't know. It was I think it was the day before I came down to yours or something, or one of the other days. No, it was the weekend before was it last weekend? No, it was the weekend before last.
It was last weekend you came down to the Devil Bend and told me about it?
Yeah, I came down. Yeah. So it was the weekend before last.
Yeah.
And it was the Battle Stars pre-release that I went to. And usually I'm a lot meeker than you may see on the podcast here. But
what do you mean by that?
I'm just shy. I don't do so well in public, but
I think you'd do fine, but you were great at the club. That
now,
was amazing.
Yeah, now I'm like, let's go.
Fuck
but
yeah.
if you had have caught me before I started this new job, before I started working at the hospital, I would have just been like, the club, fuck that noise.
I remember. I
will not be going to the club at all. No, thank you.
There is a deleted scene of the podcast where I try and convince Adam to go to Crown Casino, and he's just like, I can't be fucked.
Well, the casino is a completely different thing. I just don't, believe.
Casino sucks. I don't even know why I went.
Yeah, well, and you did end up injuring yourself, so that was like...
That was the meme.
That was the meme. But like, yeah, I wouldn't... now I still wouldn't go to the casino, but if it was like a club, I'd be like, imagine at another place, it may be a little bit quieter just because the place is a lot bigger.
Yeah.
And the sound diffuses a lot more readily into the sort of air. But yeah, Merchant was pretty good. Sam was just like, nah, fuck it, this is trash. And I was like, this is fine, there's nothing wrong with this. Music could be a little bit better, but this is fine, there's nothing wrong.
When you realise the gold of the city.
And then the fucking cookers turned up, and I was like, okay, what the fuck?
The cookers!
My
God.
They were fucking, oh my god. You were like, they redeemed the night. They fucking fixed it. They saved it. And then I was just like, oh my god, what the hell? I had no clue who they were. One of them sat down, and then the other one started talking to me, and then I think the one that sat down said something like, I'm uncomfortable. He just like blurted it out, and I'm like, okay.
Did he say that?
Yeah, that's what he was shouting. The first thing that he said to either of us was, I'm uncomfortable. The one that was sitting back, not the one that had all the fucking glass and stuff. He stole all the glasses. I'm not a thief. I'm only a thief when I'm drunk.
That was fucking hilarious. So this dude, right, walks in. I'm sorry, I should just explain. I've been on my phone during the Pokemon segment and during this because that's the segue to the next segment.
That's right.
All my attention span is just horrible and I'm a rude person.
No, that's right.
I was listening though. I was trying my hardest to do both. I will explain this, so you can explain it if you want.
Yeah, no, that's right.
Sorry, I've literally just butted in.
No, I mean, it's so funny.
This dude comes up to us, and he's about 18, he's got braces, and he's
looks
just like...
absolutely devastated.
Yeah.
He's just like, looked like he needed to sleep for a week.
Yeah, oh, exactly. And the bouncers, he's like, oh, fucking bouncers.
He thought I was security. He asked me, are you security? And I'm like, no. And he's like, I thought you were going to throw me out. And I'm like, no, why would I? And he's like, oh, I thought you saw what I was doing.
You look like security though when you're there. Like, people just like, holy shit.
I think if I wore a black top, they would have assumed I was security.
You should dress up as security. You'll probably be let in by the other members of the crew.
Yeah, I'm the new security guy for tonight.
You're so funny.
The contractor.
So funny.
They'd just be like, oh, okay, cool.
If you got that job, I would laugh my ass off.
That'd be kind of sick, except then I'd have to deal with all the fucking shits.
Yeah.
That's the only problem.
And you'd probably have to learn basic self-defense. But I just love the...
She'll be right.
She'll be right. Just freaking bonk.
All I do.
I just love this dude. He's just like, I'm fucking pissed off at the bar, pissed off at the bouncers. They were dying. They wouldn't let me in until finally. So I'm just stealing all the fucking shot glasses. And he pulls his pants open, and you're like seeing half his dick almost. We're like, oh my god, I don't want to see that. And it's just full of shot glasses.
I don't know how he was walking around, honestly, without like one of them either breaking and stabbing him or like falling through the leg of his pants.
And he shows a photo to us. He's like, we stole this the other week. It's like a fucking meter long bottle of wine.
Yeah, like this big, I think it was like a big novelty item or something. Like it would have been something for like a party or whatever. But it was just this huge thing of wine, and apparently they nicked it. They just grabbed it and dashed. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then he's like, don't judge me, I'm not a thief, I'm only a thief when I'm drunk. And I'm like...
I said to him, I was like...
That still makes you a thief.
I whispered in his ear, I'm like, mate, you are a cooker. Like, you are.
You straight up called them cookers, and they were just like, oh yeah.
I didn't call the other dude a cooker.
No, he was a bit nicer about it.
He was
I think he was just like absolutely unaware.
I think he said to me, he's like, mate, I'm very embarrassed about this dude. And I'm like, it's all good, man.
Were they mates?
We've all been there, yeah. They're friends. I was like, it's all good, man. We've all been there.
We've all had those days.
Don't worry about that.
You got one for me?
Yep, I sure am.
Go.
Sorry, I've been ordering the HSP, trying to find a way to do
But I
that.
have one written down here.
Oh, yes.
At least once per trip. Once per visit. Because they're so good. And you can't get anything like them on the fucking... Oh. I showed you the light of the HSP when you were here. And then I go down to your place and you show me fucking Yo My Goodness. And I'm just like...
I've introduced you to Owl.
It's so good. Like, we literally just went into the place beside the merchant club and had such a good burger. Honestly, I wasn't really expecting much. I kind of, have you been to Grilled?
Yes.
I was kind of expecting something on that level, but this was just like
Placing order. Placing
This
order.
was like
Cool.
so good.
Yeah, sorry.
Nice.
You like the Kingsman you had?
Oh, delicious! I'll have that again in a heartbeat.
Try another payment method.
Are you running out of money?
Oh, no, I put in my wrong card. Yeah, continue. Sorry.
Imagine having the wrong card.
What the?
But yeah, like, honestly, so good. The chips were great. The fucking burger was magnifique. Delicious.
That's very good.
So good.
You continue talking and explain how great it was, and I'll be back in a sec.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was just really, really good. I mean, I haven't been to many places like that. I think it was... What are you doing? Where are you going?
Just doing this. There we go. Yeah, continue.
There was... Yeah, no, it was just better than Grilled. I don't know... Grilled lets you add a few extra things into your order, but this one had the option to add, but it wasn't as good. There was a little bit, it wasn't like, add bacon, add all this other shit. They just had really, really good presets and like options. They were just so good compared to, what's it called, the other place. Is that a second phone? Oh, wallet.
Nah, it's a wallet.
That's alright. I'm like, bro, why are you flexing with
do this off camera?
Phones? Yeah. It was just really, really good. Like, that place, the food there was some babes as well, but that wasn't it. As soon as I got that burger, I was just like, nah, fuck it, forget everybody else.
The chicks that work there are hot.
Yeah. I'll cop that.
I mean, they're not bad. They're always pretty nice.
Well, they're paid to be nice.
Yes, but they are.
That's the problem. Every time apparently you go somewhere and you're like, oh, they were really nice. It's just like, well, they were paid to be nice.
Oh, okay.
I do give them the benefit of the doubt though. Like, you can be paid to be nice and still be an asshole, and you can be paid to be like nice and just be completely neutral about everything.
Yeah.
Or you can, be paid to be nice and,
Okay,
be nice.
Yeah.
That's alright.
Okay, let's about this order maybe later. Alright, so there we go. We got the tracker on.
Fantastic.
Finally, I'm able to have your proper attention, because you never know when I'm looking at my phone if I'm even freaking listening.
Yeah, no, that's alright.
But yes, that week last week was very nice.
Yes.
I think it was still pretty good, all things considering.
Even you were ragging on merchant something hard, and I was like, bro, it's fine. It's doing what it needs to do. Just like. It's the deep end.
I guess.
It's like not getting in at the baby pool or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's not getting in at like the deep end. It's sort of getting in the middle. Because you can go to just like a regular bar and be like at the very sort of like shallow end of the spectrum, I suppose. And then you can go to like a huge club and be completely drowning in the deep end. But you gotta acclimatise to that shit, and that's why we went to Merchant first.
A Merchant was my first place I went to when after in high school. I'll tell that story in a sec. But what were you?
No, that's all right. Go
right ahead.
I finished my analogy.
I always interrupt.
No, it's all right. Came in at the right time this time.
First time I went in Merchant was when I went with a guy and two girls, and that was a disaster. That was literally the worst.
This story. But there's quite a few.
As soon as we entered, they ditched me. Like, not expecting them to dance with me the whole night, but at least acknowledge I exist in there. They walked off from me, and this was when Merchant was completely different. Like, they used to. Did you see that wall, that mirrored wall to the right? So you walk in, And
yeah, the wall with the mirrors, the brick wall with the mirrors. Yeah,
that used to be a giant screen going across that entire wall to like the left side of the business to the right side. Huge screen.
I imagine they changed it out after someone broke it.
Probably, yeah. So
unfortunately, a screen that size would cost a fortune.
Yeah, it was huge, and I went in there and there was the preliminary final of AFL playing on the screen while everyone's dancing.
So you were too busy watching the footy.
Yeah, and then they went to like music videos, really nice music videos, and that was back when Merchant was like, I reckon even better. Like that was
Merchant's like heyday.
Yeah, or even better. I'm not trying to say I hate Merchant. No, it was its heyday. It was when it was really popping. And I went in and the girls just ignored me as soon as we entered the building. They were ignoring me in the line, and we went in, and at the time I really liked this chick as well. I liked her for a long time. Yeah. And I lost all respect for her that night. So it was a very, very shitty night, and it was a few months after I turned 18, so you know, pretty shitty experience for the first one, but the night wasn't,
completely lost.
As well, it wasn't as bad until I got to it was a terrible night, but it was even worse when I got outside. They ordered an Uber without telling me. They jumped in the Uber really quickly and left me on the sidewalk and said, "No room," shut the door. And I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" I literally was like, "You're not even my friend." It's like, what am I even doing with you here? Like, that's what I was thinking, like, the whole night I was thinking, are these people really even my friends?
Have you actually like confronted them about this?
Yeah, I've confronted the main girl, about it several times, and she gets defensive every single time and tells me and just kind of
tell her to shut the fuck. Tell her to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, no, I've always wanted a genuine apology for it, but I've never got one.
I would want one. Yeah,
I'm extremely angry at it.
If she hasn't done it at this point, I don't think you're going to get it out of her.
I'll bring it up to her and less confronting, because every time I brought it up to her, I've been very confronting about it, like very, like, oh, you left me at this. Like, I may as well just bring it up, like, properly, like, look, to be honest, that night was pretty much one of the worst experiences I ever had in my, teenage years.
They'd still probably get defensive about it there.
Do you think so? If she got defensive there, so. I'd be like, look, you just got to understand that this night, like, what happened, like, with that club, with just being completely ignored and, like, I never existed, and then on top of that, being ditched and having to call my dad when he was asleep and to get a lift, it's like, that was literally the worst experience, and it took me literally years to find confidence again with girls. Or, honestly, it took me a long time to trust if, what girl was the right one, and I went on a date like a year later, and I didn't even like it. Like, I don't know, that wasn't clubbing though, I don't know. Let's just say she ruined my confidence with girls entirely for a long time. This is a pretty personal thing to talk about on a podcast, but I'm happy to talk about it.
Have we talked about this before? I'm pretty sure we talked about it at least once.
I think so, or maybe.
It would have been in one of the really early episodes.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's a new era for me, obviously. Not mentioning anything, but
Indeed.
It is.
Indeed.
I mean, tonight's a very big night for me. But anyway, so fuck. What have I done? But yeah, I hate it when someone, is very selfish and they ruin it for their friend. Someone is meant to be their friend, and it's just like I felt like I was being used that entire year. But anyway.
Oh well, at least you've brought in. I don't know.
Stick with my real friends.
Absolutely. Know who the real friends are, and you will be all good.
And go clubbing with the boys.
Absolutely.
And have a great night. I mean, nothing wrong going clubbing with your friends that are girls. It's just get prepared to, if they're bad people, they're not great friends. Get prepared. I mean, it goes the same for guys. Bad friends you got that are guys. Bad friends you got that are girls. I mean. This dude's such a dick, though, the dude I went clubbing with at that time, the first time I went clubbing. I went clubbing with the same dude who's friends with my friend, and he just acts like such an asshole sometimes. Sometimes he's a good guy, but he mentions, oh, you guys should come clubbing with me in the city on Saturday night. Like, literally invites my friends in front of me without inviting me, and I'm like, dude, can you just fuck off? Like,
yeah, welcome honestly, to my world. That's happened to me several times where folks have just been like, oh, want to do this, and this.
No social awareness.
I'm sitting there like, bro.
Yeah.
Didn't realize I was invisible. Holy shit.
I literally spent the whole afternoon. They're talking about some dinner they've got planned with a bunch of people that I didn't want to be invited to anyway, so I don't really care about that. But then he just goes and starts inviting them to other things. I'm like, mate, can you fuck off? Like, you're literally doing this on purpose. Like,
just to shit me off.
Yeah, fuck off, dude.
And they do that, you're just like,
I mean, look, I've been uninvited to a lot of stuff with those specific people, and it's been like, I don't really care, like, because it's a different group that they invite. You know, I'm not really a part of their group. I'm just friends with them. Yeah. So whenever they're with that group, I don't really. Yeah. And I still see this girl that dicked me that night at the club. I still see her every now and then. Like, I went to her house the other week and played tennis with her the other week, and you know, she's okay. She's polite to me when she sees me, but I know that behind my back she doesn't like me and tries to get me uninvited to things and is really anti-me. But that's okay. That's her incentive. She can do whatever she wants.
She needs to grow up.
Probably.
Frankly.
She probably does. But, yeah. Anything else you want to talk about? Or have we scratched every surface imaginable? I'm kind of keen for the HSPs to arrive and to show them on the podcast, but I'm worried if we watch this back, we're just going to... You'll be fine because you live here. Yeah. But I'm going to watch this back and just go... Oh, I want that so bad. Now. So we might...
We need a good HSP place near yours.
Oh, there isn't any. I mean, the one outside Merchant's okay. That's not too bad. But we weren't feeling HSP that night.
I was definitely feeling more like a burger after a big drive.
Even though we already had a burger.
Yeah. God damn.
Oh, no. But, yeah. So, I mean, unless you got anything else you want to... any other stories?
Just trying to think.
Crazy shit that's happened. But friends dogging you?
Oh.
Not that that's a fond memory, but...
No, that was my whole fucking year 12.
Year 12 was fucking great. It's either goes... I feel like year 12 either goes really badly with social-wise, or it goes really well. For me, it was somewhere in... I just said it either goes really badly or really well, but then I'm about to say for me it was somewhere in the middle. The only thing I have a problem with my year 12 was I know people that got invited to a shit ton of parties, and I only got invited to like 5, but there's a reason behind that. And that's because the people that were holding the parties, I burnt my reputation. I burnt my any kind of friendship with or any kind of interactions with well earlier in high school. So that kind of fucked me up for the rest of school. But other than that, you know, I mean, year 12 is a very
chaotic year.
And it's something I am very interested in putting behind me. It's definitely my past. It's not my present or future, obviously. It is the past, and it is something that happened a long time ago, and it's not really relevant at all to my life anymore. I feel like completely different. I feel like, a completely different person. Do you feel like a completely different person since year 12?
Absolutely.
Even since the TAFE first year. Like, you've got photos of me with my fucking emo hair.
Yeah.
Sitting at the desk just like... Oh my god!
God damn!
I didn't have emo hair. I just
back using my old computer. I still need to boot up my old computer.
Oh! I thought you said you're back using your old computer.
No, it's just that one's got a few of my like written things on it.
I noticed you got a new monitor as well. That looks nice.
Yeah, it's actually super sick.
Very cool.
Not sure what that.
Adam's laptop, by the way, guys, is my laptop, but the far better version.
It's like, so.
Mine's
for a laptop, it's fucking overkill.
Probably the best laptop that exists, but it's not really portable, sadly.
No, not really.
The better the laptop, the less portable.
I definitely feel like I should save up like 10 grand or something, and just buy a massive station.
I'm gonna do that.
And just, you know, the problem is, right, I'll either use it for games, or I'll do some like animating on it, but I need to know which one is which, because you sort of you optimize for one or the other.
Continue.
Like, if you really want to do like 3D shit, you gotta power up the CPU and stuff, get a whole load of like cores and threads and shit. Whereas if you want to play games, you gotta get a whole lot of RAM. There's a lot of crossover as well, but I think you do have to optimize very slightly for different things depending on what you want to do. But, I mean, a powerful computer is a powerful computer no matter what, honestly.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it depends if the laptop can run certain things. Like, my laptop is pretty garbage with a lot of Premiere Pro settings. Like, you kind of have to do things differently.
Oh, my God. On God, I can't stand Premiere Pro.
I got used to it, so now I don't mind it, but
Every like
you have to update.
I'm
to
using
Premiere
like
Pro, sadly.
I use Animate as my main workflow for
Yeah.
actual moving animation.
Sorry.
I couldn't stand what's it called initially. After Effects. I couldn't stand After Effects
That
for the
is
longest
tough.
time.
Yeah.
But once you understand, I've just like there was literally this moment, and it was I was trying to get which part was it? It's actually a part that I finished in my animation, right?
Yeah.
And it was I think it was where I was setting out to have the characters in my animation emit beams of light out of their eyes.
Whoa.
Like, not just like super bright beams, but like a very, very faint cone of light that comes actually out of their eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And it was an effect that I couldn't quite simulate manually. Like, I couldn't quite get it to work.
So you needed After Effects.
Like I could get it to work. I think I did it before at one point, but it was just very, very difficult. Like it took a lot of time, and you had to mess around with opacity layers. But I literally came out with it. I fumbled about for like half an hour, and then I got the most amazing effect, and it was exactly what I was thinking. Like, you know when you imagine something and then you like actually create it. There's sometimes very different outcomes because of limitations. This effect that I managed to get out of After Effects was exactly how I imagined it in my head, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is real!" Like,
there you go.
After Effects is actually capable of doing this shit.
After Effects game. Sorry, I feel like that's.
And I'm just like,
pressure thing.
oh my God. And so now basically After Effects is like a permanent part of my workflow. The way that I've, set everything up, I will do all of the like actual timing and editing in After Effects instead of in Premiere, because I cannot stand Premiere compared to After Effects.
Yeah.
For animation,
After Effects.
For animation, you use After Effects.
Way better for animation.
Like
obviously
10 times out of 10, 100 times out of 100, use After Effects. If you're doing a proper animation and you need to get some like effects into it, use AE, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you're doing like a thing where you can't really chop it down into frames because you're using a camera that records it, you can chop it down into frames, but it'll look weird because you'd get like the blur or whatever from movement. If you're doing live action stuff, like stuff that you've actually recorded with a camera instead of through the program with the animation, use Premiere, because Premiere is a lot more lenient with that kind of thing. It knows how to process that stuff a little bit more, and there's more functionality in those things.
I just don't think Premiere is perfect for finite editing. If you're someone who likes it to the nearest frame, the nearest millisecond detail, I don't think Premiere is for you.
Absolutely not.
Because you can't actually do that.
Premiere's a lot more broad and strong in that way. After Effects is for those like surgical frame by frame bits if you need them.
Absolutely. Like Adobe, it's a bit saturated with having different programs. They should just have the one.
They should have like, well, if they had Photoshop, and maybe integrated Illustrator into it, so that they use completely different workflows. So, if you had to cut down their things, you'd have Photoshop, After Effects, Audition, or maybe put Audition into Audition would probably be the one I'd cut the most, but I'd put all of it into either Premiere or After Effects, or maybe like make Audition a permanent section in After Effects and Premiere. So then you'd have Photoshop, Illustrator, After Effects, Premiere, Audition, and then Animate, and then but then they also have other shit like I'm sure if you were using them for their actual use, they'd be properly solid. They've got like Bridge, which is actually a really good file like structuring system. It's actually not half bad at all. because it's got a really good. The one thing that Bridge does that I've noticed that you actually really need is batch renaming, which means because if you're exporting everything into frames that you have to then stitch together in After Effects, you can batch rename them in Bridge, right? And so you don't have to go manually through them and name them like frame 1, frame 2, frame 3. You can literally just select it all and go, I want it named from here. I want it named like frame XXX, where X is a number. And I want all of these named from 001. And it'll just put everything in that order into that naming structure in one fell swoop. That's so good. That's actually the most powerful thing that you could imagine. If you've just got a whole lot of disparate frames with weird names or whatever.
Imagine doing that manually.
Doing that manually would kill a person, honestly. If you had...
That's what they used to have to do.
Yeah, exactly. But they would have had to do that manually in like the days of like Toy Story and stuff. They would have had to do all that shit manually, and you would have just... Getting that job would have just been like, oh my god, I want to kill myself. I want to kill myself. After frame 50 of looking at the same thing, just ever so slightly different, you'd just be like, fuck, can it be over?
Can Buzz's fucking helmet leave my fucking screen?
Yeah, honestly, that fucking dog. Goddamn.
Spud! Stupid dog!
Spud, oh my god.
Oh my gosh, well...
But then they have a few other ones like, Lightroom?
Bud Light beer.
No. Someone's been watching their YouTube poops. They have Lightroom, which is for like photos and like I think some kind of developing thing. Then there's Dreamweaver, which is for making like websites.
Oh really? Is that what it's for?
It's for like coding websites, I think. And then there's like
Illustrator. Did you mention that?
I have mentioned Illustrator actually.
I wasn't listening. I was trying to, but.
Yeah, there's a whole load of other ones that
Spectrum.
Just don't seem to have much use. Like they don't seem like I'm sure they have
business
some use
sort
somewhere.
Of thing,
yeah, like I'm pretty sure there's even like Adobe bookmaking, which is like doing your taxes and shit.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, well that'd be interesting if I knew how to do it.
Let Adobe do it for you.
Let Adobe do it for you because I have no fucking clue. Thank you. Yeah, it's just like.
But they're expensive Adobe products, and I have to pay for my Premiere every month out of my credit card, and it's shit.
God damn, yeah.
Not fun. And I also have to pay for KO now and everything. But yeah.
KO?
Sporting app, which is amazing. I recommend KO. I don't want to do an ad for them, but it's fucking good if you like sports. But
yeah, not for me.
Are you okay to wrap it up there?
Why not?
Because we are running out of time. Actually, I'm running out of time a little bit, but that's all right.
Oh, excuse me.
No, I was just saying because I checked the time and it's getting. I've got an hour until I got like 40 minutes until I got to go and an hour
shit.
until.
You're gonna have to wolf down that HSP.
Yeah, I literally am. But thank you guys. Episode 27.
Indeed. 27.
Wow, we're getting on.
We're gonna hit 30. Yeah, getting on in years. Ooh, feeling old already.
So thanks for watching, guys, and we'll be back hopefully sometime soon. Hopefully.
Yes. We'll be back at 3 a.m. when Sam gets back.
If you want to. You probably don't.
No.
In this room, you gotta get up out of here.
Fuck that noise. Fuck that shit.
You can stop your recording, I'll stop mine, but I just want to show everyone Adam's room.
No, don't dox me. Fucking oh my god.
Wow! No. What is this? What is this? Snackos.
They're my fucking Aldi brand,
the stuff.
Less snack.
Aldi brand shapes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
That's what they're called.
Look at this. This is just massive. Wow. And look at this view, this new house that's just destroyed everything.
Less snack. Less snack. Do you remember those?
Yes.
The fucking cheese dip.
They had the peri spicy sauce with the thing, and they got rid of that. They got rid of the nice tomato one. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. That's it.
The regular less snack.
You are less snack.
I am less snack.
The cheese was shit. Cheesy dip, Asa.
The cheese dip was fine.